Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Excellent. Thank you so much for joining me. I really appreciate you.
You're welcome. No problem.
So I'm here with renowned celebrity photographer Tricia Messeroux, who is recreating iconic social and racial justice leaders with young Black and brown boys and girls. How are you doing today?
I'm good, thank you. Thanks for having me.
So what inspired the idea to recreate some of these iconic social and racial justice leaders?
Well, it's interesting because with Toddlewood, I've always, you know, recreated images with kids, and they're usually more fun and, red carpet, and things like that. And sometimes we do things like, iconic women for Women's History Month and what have you. So, but the thing is, once, the craziness started in a bigger way, with George Floyd dying and Breonna and what have you. So it became a passion of mine to get involved somehow. So my family and I, we tend to, we started protesting, and I really made sure I got my kids involved. I have a 9-year-old and a now 15-year-old. They came to the protests with us. I made sure they understood what was going on, and a little scary for the 9-year-old, but um, but I figured, what more can I do? And especially with my brand. So I have a decent sized platform with Toddlewood. How can I get Toddlewood involved and do something where kids can be involved in a way, or at least learn, you know? And so that's where it just started. I just decided to, let's do a Toddlewood style.
This is a great learning tool too. Do you see like the kids like, developing like an interest and stuff, everything in social justice?
Absolutely, absolutely. I know a lot of the kids, when I do the casting call, one thing when I choose the children, one thing I do uh, tell the moms who are bringing the kids is to make sure they understand who they're emulating, so have them come in with some knowledge of that person and not just come into another photo shoot. So when they do come, I make sure I ask them a few questions and things like that. And what we're planning on doing, on a bigger standpoint, so not just the kids that are in the program, but on a bigger standpoint, is really doing something video wise. So we are shooting behind the scenes of the making of, and we're putting together the behind the scenes videos, married with images and video clips of that particular individual with a nice voiceover, and then the kids actually have something to read about that person, so that they're involved. So it is going to be, like you said, a learning tool, an educational piece for children and adults, because some of these people that we've been researching and have been digging up and what have you, some of them I didn't even know. I didn't even know some of the, some of the things that they did, who they were and things like that. So I'm learning as well.
Right. And you talked about having photo submissions. You had over 3,000 photo submissions. So for the Toddlewood Engineers of Equality Project, how was the process of selecting the children?
So yes, we've had over 3,000. And if I check right now, probably have another 500. I mean, it's constantly going, which is really super cool. Right. So usually what we do is at my studio, we just have live casting calls, and I see the kids and the model searches or whatever. And then I allow some kids to submit from, other states. Obviously they can submit through email. But being that, we have to deal with this COVID situation going on, so I'm doing everything virtually. So people are submitting pictures. They submit 2 photos of their child, name, height, age, where they're from and what have you. And then I choose from there. And sometimes I may ask for different angles if I'm getting close. Like, for instance, more recently, Booker T. Washington, I was trying to cast, for him, and there were at least 7 boys who were really, really close. So I had to ask moms to give me different profiles and things like that. And then I came to my one kid that I thought really nailed it.
That's amazing. And you talk about learning, like, during the process, who are some of the iconic social and racial justice leaders that, you weren't familiar with necessarily?
It's not that I didn't know their names. I didn't know all that they did, like Mary McLeod Bethune. I didn't, I you kind of, when you're doing these projects, you kind of dig in a little bit deeper, You
Yeah.
know, you Wikipedia them, you Google them, you find some old footage, old speeches, old whatever you can find about that person, and you know, really find out what they were about, a little bit of the history of them. So I think that's the same way, you know, for most of these. I mean, everyone knows, you know, Harriet Tubman, but before the movie came out, they probably didn't know much more than she just, you know, tried, you know, freed slaves, you know. But she has more history. You know what I mean? She has a lot more depth in her from childhood all the way to the day that she died. You know, Malcolm X. A lot of people know about Malcolm X. A lot of kids don't, but a lot of people know about Malcolm X and they know what he was about and things like that. But you know, his journey to Mecca was a big deal. You know what I mean? That really transformed his way of thinking and his passion in his life and how he handled things and how he was moving forward to, you know, to create equality. And you know, so things like that. Those are the type of things that I really want to get across, especially when I do the video, or the videos rather. And you know, we are creating a coffee table book, and
Wow.
so in that coffee table book will be the beautiful photos of the transformation of the children, and then some contents, you know, some good information about that particular person. And I think that's something that's going to be pretty special too.
Definitely. When will the project be completed, and where can people stay up to date with you on social media so they can get that coffee book?
Yes. So the project, we're hoping it can be complete by the end of September. So as of, you know, we're still shooting. We're still in the midst of shooting. As a matter of fact, I'm hopping on a plane tomorrow morning, head over to California, to LA, to shoot Mary McLeod Bethune, the little Mary McLeod Bethune, and fly right back, because of COVID. I can only be there for 24 hours, so I don't have to quarantine. So, and then we are also taking a trip out to Montgomery, to Selma, and shooting on the bridge with our little John Lewis as well. So we have a couple of trips that I'm really excited to do to make it really authentic and real, and create a little bit of our own history. So the goal is to finish by the end of September. Coffee Table Books will be complete and ready 2 weeks after that. We do plan on doing a big unveiling, so maybe something, we're thinking of something in person at a gallery, you know, do the big unveiling like we've done in the past, but make it also a huge online live event. So we're really excited about that, and how they can keep in touch and follow and let everybody know what we're doing, because it's pretty awesome. You know, on my Instagram, it's at Toddlewood. That's TODDLEWOOD. And Facebook, the same thing, and then the website. But the more active one is Instagram and Facebook at Toddlewood.
Thank you so much, Tricia, for the time. I really appreciate